Hello everyone, Victor Tanzig here, and welcome to the Reddit Railway. Today's destination is r/relationships, so all aboard! My two best friends in the world are male, and I've slept with both of them. It's not as bad as it seems though. It's not like I have feelings for either one of them. They're both childhood friends whom I've known for years. I love them both with all my heart, but the thought of being in a relationship with either of them is unfathomable. One of them is named Rob, and we had a brief relationship in high school. We broke up after less than a year for several reasons, but remained friends. The other one is named John, and is a bit more complicated. I would never date him because he has serious issues. And it's not so much the issues that stop me from dating him, but that he adamantly refuses to get any kind of help or therapy. He had some major childhood trauma that he's been big time repressing, and it's affected his ability to have a relationship. He's a bit of a womanizer. After I got back from university abroad, I was 23 and needed a place to live. His parents had moved out to a condo on the beach, and they let John live in their old house. He offered me one of the spare bedrooms for very low rent. We lived together for a while without incident. I dated a guy for like 2 years, and John had a constant stream of women in and out of his bedroom. We developed a system that worked for us, and we became closer than ever. The problem was, one night about a year after I broke up with my ex, we hung out in the house alone and got drunk. We were both super horny and hooked up, and we had amazing sex. Like really mind-blowing, and we didn't want to stop. So we kept hooking up for about 8 months. Then, one of his exes came back into his life. They started hanging out as friends, and he realized he had feelings for her. We tried to stop hooking up, but quite frankly, we had no self-control. I want to stress there was no cheating. We continued hooking up while he was deciding if he wanted to get back with his ex or not. When he decided he would, we stopped. This was when I moved out. I was 29, had a steady job, and there was no reason I shouldn't. I left and we agreed to never talk about it again. Now we come to my boyfriend. His name is Sam, and he had been a long-time co-worker of mine. We started working together when I got my job at 26. He and I became best friends. He would tell me about his life, and I would share embarrassing childhood stories about Rob and John. Oh yeah, we all work together. Rob and John are in different departments, but it's a pretty close-knit company. He knew I had dated Rob in high school, but he didn't know about John. When I told Sam I was moving out of his house, he asked why, and I just said we were getting older and it was time for me to get my own place, which was absolutely true. That same day, Sam confessed he had feelings for me and had for a while now. After that, we began to date. Fast forward about 4 years and Sam has moved into my place. He sometimes works really late nights, and on occasion, I'll have Rob or John over to keep me company. Last night he was meant to be working until 11 p.m. John was here, and we were hanging out in the living room. It was about 10:30 p.m. We were drinking, and John mentioned to me that his girlfriend was always jealous/worried that he and I had feelings for each other. I said that was silly. Specifically, I said, just because two people have great sex doesn't mean they're in love. We were talking pretty loudly, so I guess Sam came in at some point and heard me say that. I didn't even hear him unlock the front door, but he stormed into the living room and confronted me, asking when John and I had sex. He looked equal parts disappointed and angry. John left because he didn't want to be involved in our argument. I told Sam everything. He says he's now uncomfortable with the fact that I have slept with two of my best friends. He also doesn't like that John and I had sex a few days before he asked me out. He says it taints our entire relationship because I lied about it. I think he's being a bit puritanical. Of course I have a sexual past, and why does it matter if it was only a few days before, since it didn't mean anything? It's not like I had feelings for John, and we always used protection and frequently got tested. I told Sam that, so it's not like he's concerned about the health risks. He's just jealous. He wants me to hang out with John less, and is really upset we were drinking together alone. He also insists I should make new friends and separate myself a bit from Rob and John because it's weird that both of the people I'm closest with have seen me naked. I think he's being entirely unreasonable. John and I are both in relationships, and we have no feelings for each other whatsoever. The fact that we hooked up for a while is something we want to leave in the past, and to bring Rob into this is just ridiculous. It's been 15 years since our relationship, and he's now married with kids. I think Sam just wants to punish me or something. I honestly don't know what to make of this situation. Well, I do. If you're in a relationship with someone, I agree your sexual history is really none of their business, so long as you're not in regular contact with any of those partners. But if you are, your current partner has the right to know. Aside from hanging out with them on a regular basis, OP also works with Rob and John. I can understand why Sam would be upset. I do agree he's overreacting by saying their relationship is tainted because OP slept with John a few days before he asked her out. I mean, how? You weren't dating, so you really don't have a say. These two need to have a serious conversation if they want to avoid a breakup, even though I think that's inevitable. So let's jump into the update to see what happened. After reading all of the comments on my post, I realized that Sam was not overreacting at all. It would have been more than reasonable for him to break up with me because of this. I showed him my post and we had a long discussion. I promised I would never hang out with Rob or John alone again. I told him I loved him so much and he was the most important person in my life. I said I would do anything to get his trust back, even if he wanted me to stop seeing my friends altogether. He said that wasn't necessary and he didn't mind if I saw them alone occasionally. He would just prefer it if it was done in public and not late at night with any alcohol involved. He was sorry for being so judgmental, but I told him that he was completely right and my relationship with John was inappropriate. I needed something like this to make me see it. We moved past it fairly easily and are now actually married. It was a courthouse wedding on our 5th anniversary and it was lovely. Now here's the part where everyone was right. After my conversation with Sam, John and I drifted apart a bit. I still hung out with Rob and his wife, but John broke up with his girlfriend and I no longer felt comfortable being alone with him. He and I would hang out with Rob. This happened maybe once or twice a month, whereas before we would see each other a few times a week. Then last Thanksgiving, when Sam and I announced we were getting married, John left the dinner early. He didn't return my calls, sent short replies to my messages, and barely spoke to me. I didn't see him again until my wedding in December. You can guess where this is going. Thankfully, nothing happened at the wedding. It was a small ceremony, just our families, a couple of Sam's friends, Rob, his wife, and John. We went to a restaurant for a reception dinner, and John seemed withdrawn the entire time. I guess he wasn't happy I was married. Since Sam and I got back from our honeymoon in January, I have seen John maybe twice. Once for Easter and again for Rob's birthday. I've tried to say hi at work, but he always makes an excuse and walks away. He didn't even come to Sam's birthday last month. After that, I decided that I would stop trying to reach out to him and he could talk to me when he was ready. Last week, he finally was. Sam was offered an opportunity to travel abroad for 8 months and I could come along. We accepted the offer and announced it on Facebook. I guess John saw it because he sought me out at work the next day. He asked me if I was really leaving the country for 8 months. I said yes, and he asked why I couldn't stay. I asked why he cared when we hadn't really spoken in months. He said, "I'm sorry, never mind," and walked away. At that point, it was clearer than ever what was really going on. So Sam and I are leaving in September. Our jobs will still be waiting for us when we get back, but I've decided to find a new one. I'm glad that I'll be out of the country for a bit. I feel really stupid for not realizing John could have feelings for me. I just assumed he didn't, since I sure as hell didn't have any for him. It seems obvious now. Everyone who commented on my last post was spot on about our relationship not being normal, and I'm so glad that Reddit was able to see what I didn't. I am so deliriously happy and in love with my husband. I don't even want to think what might have happened had I not posted here. So thank you all again, and I hope this update is somewhat satisfying. Yes, it was. I'm glad I was wrong about the breakup. Sam sounds like a really good guy. He must be if OP married him. I didn't see that coming. I also wasn't too sure if John had feelings for OP, but it sure sounds like he did. Sorry, mate, you had your chance. She's with someone else now. Move on and get some help. You'll be better off for it. And I'm sure OP is better off with Sam. Best of luck to them. And with that, I'll end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.